Just walk away. Just walk away, and there will be an end to the horror.
All right. Talk for me, Nick.
Hello?
Yes, we're good. We're live. All right, everybody. Welcome back. This is my second stream of the day. Last one was with JGG. So if anybody's back to see this second one, hello, welcome. I'm here with Nick now. Today we're going to go over some recent news and discuss a little bit about what came up in our last chat with TFM. So, but first, the recent news that kind of has come down through the MGTOW pipe is Vincent bailing out of Cambodia. So what happened? You know more about it than me, Nick.
Oh, he only lasted 5 days. I mean, I think he was supposed to be there for a month.
Yeah, he was originally planning a month. So, yeah, expatriatism isn't for everybody, that's for sure. I think...
Yeah, 5 days is pretty brief, man.
Yeah, you can't get anything out of 5 days.
Well, you got to give him credit. I give him, it's not easy for the average person to do something like that. I mean, my first week in Phnom Penh was horrible. Horrible. One of the worst experiences of my life. I was deathly sick for at least the first week and a half. On top of the jet lag, it was bad.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. My experience, my first experience of expatriation. Hold on a second. The stream health isn't too great, guys. So you're probably gonna experience lag. Fucking YouTube, eh? The stream was perfect this afternoon. Now it's not so great, but we'll just plow on through it. Anyway, yeah, my experience, my first experience in Indonesia, I had a great time. I mean, it was different, but I still had a great time. So, but I mean...
Yeah, I mean, look, he's got to figure out another game plan. At his age, and he's never, I don't know if he's been abroad or whatever like that, but to make that jump that late in the ball game, that's hard. That's hard. Most of the guys that are his age over there have been there for like 20, 25 years,
Yeah. And, but the good thing is that he said he had enough money, he could probably live out the rest of his life there.
He's got to try a different country, or just pick another place in America. I mean, you're not limited. It's just staying in whatever state you're in.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to West Virginia. West Virginia was amazing. Oh, yeah. And just as cheap as Asia. It was cheap, man. It was relatively inexpensive. You can definitely rent like a nice flat for like $600 a month, easy.
Yeah, everything compared to New York is cheap, man.
Don't get me started, man. Don't get me started on work. We're saving that for another live stream. My new job, dear Lord.
No, that's true. Everything is expensive in New York. Fuck.
But I feel bad for the people are ripping on him.
On who? On
Man, Big Shot. Let me know how you make out. Jesus.
Yeah. No. It's like he should probably try. Well, yeah. Obviously, he should try some other places, but. Yeah, it's unfortunate. 5 days. He should have tried. He should have tried to tough it out for at least a month. Who knows what could have happened, But
so anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, we wanted to get into some issues that had come up that were going through the comments after we did the TFM show. Yeah, introduce it there, Nick. I'm kind of burnt out from the last talk, so you got to take the reins here.
I figured you'd be burned out. Foreboded, that I'm like, dude, you're not gonna be 100%. No, mostly about how secular, being secular, because most of the MGTOW community is secular. They don't believe in God. And going by the comment section, obviously, a lot of people have a bad taste when it comes to religion. I understand that. 100%. It's awkward. You believe in something that you're unsure of, really, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to put your full vested interest in something that you're not 100% about.
Yeah. Well, there was the one thing that I found interesting in one of the comments that was, I believe, on our not on TFM's channel, but on our channel, because we were talking, I know, about basically the fact that the people that are taking over the Europe, which are these immigrants from Africa, the Middle East, Asia, these people are very religious, and they're reproducing. They're going to replace the population of Europe, man.
Yeah, regardless of anything.
Yeah,
And
regardless.
you go down you go down the secular path, it leads to some type of hedonism. I want to say, what is the word?
Hedonism.
Yeah, a little bit of that. You know, you're asking for someone. You're claiming to be a victim in a sense. You know.
Yeah. So basically, I think a lot of people. One person mentioned that, hey, you know, the population of Iran, and he mentioned a few other countries like Egypt. Said, I think their population is slowly going down too. He says it's not. He says religion's not a protection against it. Any modern country or state is going to have lower population, and he's absolutely right. I mean, the enemy of a stable population is poverty. If you're living in impoverished conditions, you'll see people have a lot of kids. They have a lot of kids.
Now, why is that? Let me ask you. Well, let me run that theory by you. Why do you think that is?
I think it's because it's sort of instinctual for survival. I mean, you need more hands on deck. Whereas when you are living in sort of a more affluent or luxury, I mean, let's face it, the West is very luxurious. You know, this first world, wonderful, convenient country of the West. It leads to, like you said, a lot of hedonism. People kind of love their own lives. You know, they're not interested in sharing it with children. They're not interested in sharing their lives with other people.
Yeah, they look at the child as more of a burden.
Yeah, and they do. They look at the children as more of a burden, and it's not. Like, I understand how this one person was making a comment about, you know, hey, it's not, religion isn't a protection. And I agree to a certain extent, but you have to understand the Western countries are so far below reproduction at this point that it's scary.
And having religion out of the conversation, out of the reason why the demographics are declining, of course, being secular is a major part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it seems that, again, also secularism is more prominent in these sort of affluent countries where life expectancy is longer, you have a lot more free time.
You're more enlightened.
Yes, you're more so-called enlightened.
More progressive.
Yeah. I don't, and definitely, like, secularism is not going to help the Western's population. It's not. That's not going to help it at all. I mean, I'm not even suggesting a solution here, and I'm not saying religion is a solution. I don't think it is. I think a lot of people assumed that when we were talking about it, but no, I don't see that at all.
Well, what was Turd's argument? Turd thinks it's silly, right? And you know, I saw the comment section was like, well, we need to be able to be a secular society and have a strong culture and ethics. Well, you know,
good
that's
luck.
a bit of a right. Good luck, bro. You know.
Well, because I mean,
good luck. And
look at history. Look at history. There's very few examples of like a real secular culture with that, a secular country with that much culture. And I mean, let's be honest. I think secularism as a larger understanding is kind of new in the history of mankind.
Well, no, because it happened during the Roman Empire before Constantine took over.
Oh, right.
In West and everything, and then he says, "I saw Jesus on the battlefield." And that was it. He converted it, became the Byzantine Empire. You know, he transformed it. And shortly after that, the western half of the Roman Empire collapsed. In the east, which was much more religious and believing in Christianity, that's where the Eastern Orthodox comes from.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, they took a better foothold. And then the tribes in Germany eventually just sacked Rome.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess there has to be examples of it. And oh, hey, somebody in the chat said, "Why is there Listerine on that shelf?" Well, you have to ask Cabin Boy that.
Yes, that's Cabin Boy. That's story.
Ask Cabin Boy.
Great background.
I didn't think a lot of people would get that. I think it was subtle enough.
for the people that listen to our older streams, 100%, you would know exactly what that list screams about.
So anyway, another example I thought when I was thinking about this person's comments was, if you go back to, like, what was it? Maybe 10th century Spain, when the Muslims were there.
Yep. Okay.
The golden age of Islam. I mean, 10th century Spain. It was a marvel of culture and architect. Now,
Andalusia, man, Andalusia.
Yeah, man, and what, I don't know what the population index was at the time. I don't know if they were. I mean, I'm assuming they were reproducing enough to at least replace one another. But it was very affluent. I mean, it was comfortable. It was probably the greatest place on the planet at the time, or one of the greatest places.
Well, where do you think bullfighting comes from?
Yeah.
That's when the Moors were there.
Yeah. Affluence allows you time to fight bulls.
Right.
But
and dress up like a woman.
Eventually. It seems like eventually, yeah. But yeah, that would be a good example that I'd suggest people to look into. It's like during the golden age of Islam, around 10th century Spain, to find out a little bit about, like, okay, how does religion and affluence affect the population? That would be a good litmus right there. But I don't know too much about it, so.
Well, how about this? In America, it used to be mostly people from England. Where do you see English people anymore besides in, like, Canada, I guess? And there's none in the United States. Mm-hmm. And that was when the Irish came over and the Italians came over, who, again, were impoverished and were deeply religious. Mm-hmm. So there's another prime example of how this happens. Yeah. But the problem now is, obviously, you're getting people from, very different type of cultures. Yeah. Now, to be quite honest with you, AM, now I've been working in New York City now for about a month. And it's very unfortunate to say this, but the immigrants that are replacing you are much kinder and simpler people. It's an absolute pleasure to work amongst them.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
They're not as demanding. They're not as narcissistic. I mean, Americans are fucking full of shit. I cannot believe the stuff you demand and want in your little fucking lives. And compared to these immigrants who are just happy to just be here and everything, I'm telling you, it's a world difference, man. These people want it too. They want it.
Yeah.
They do want it. I mean, they're not all on welfare, and if they are on welfare, they know they're gaming the system because they're taking advantage of what's in front of them. Mm-hmm. They're not going to take the moral higher ground,
Well, I've seen I see women on the bus when I go to work, and they're from, like, some of them are, I think, Hispanic, maybe Mexican, maybe Central or South American. I see some Filipino women. I see some Nepalese women, and they're all going to work. Mm-hmm. They're all working.
They're hustling.
They're hustling, man.
They see it. They see what having a home and everything, and living the dream. I guess in a sense, it's nice. They want it. They want it too. The Hispanics always hold the door open for you. Okay, that's a huge plus. I mean, you got to do that in America. They say thank you, please. They're very modest. They're not as bad as what Fox News tells you.
Generally, yeah. I mean, there are bad ones, but generally, no. I met this. I've been in Canada a year and a half, but I still have a little Asian fever, right? So yellow fever. So I tend to, like, if I see a Filipino chick or a Japanese chick or a Korean chick, I'll always kind of try and talk to them. I don't know, it's instinct, I guess. I haven't shaken that out of my head yet. A white woman, I won't even give the time of day.
Yeah, I mean, they're on another galaxy, these women, man. I mean, just wait. In a couple weeks, we're going to do a really, really, really good live stream on what I've seen on Tinder and Bumble. This is going to be a masterpiece coming up in a couple weeks, so stay tuned.
Nice. Well,
it's decadence, man. It's bad. I mean, it's wine and puppy dogs and Starbucks and selfies. Every single one.
Nice. Well,
nothing changes off the bell curve with Western women. It's pure decadence, 100%.
Oh yeah. Well, I met this. I saw this Filipino girl. I assumed she was Filipino. She was an older lady, probably closer to my age, and had a kid with her. But I just kind of started talking to her and asked her where she was from. I assumed she was Philippines, but you never know. Maybe somewhere else. But she goes, yeah, I'm Philippine, from the Philippines. I said, how long have you been here? She said, I think 2 or 3 years. And I said, well, do you like it here? And she says, absolutely, I love it here. It's way better than the Philippines. I'm like,
No,
okay.
anything's better than the Philippines. Look, I mean, look at Vincent. Couldn't even handle 5 days in Phnom Penh, bro. What do you think?
Yeah, well,
Uh,
yeah, I don't know.
yeah, well, moving abroad is definitely, I don't recommend. If you're young, it's either you're really super young or you're Vincent's age.
Hmm.
Being 40 going to a country like that. I mean, you must have really,
Yeah.
something shit hit the fan at some point.
Vincent's, I don't know him too well. Like I've followed him for a while, and he's old school MGTOW. He's been around in the YouTube community for a long time. Very respectable guy in the MGTOW
Yeah, he seems
community.
cool.
Yeah.
I like his channel.
Yeah. And I think he's just kind of been doing his own thing his whole life. So taking the shot at going abroad, why not?
Yeah, but he just jumped right. I mean, for fuck's sakes, Cambodia is your first go around. And I told him Vietnam, and in the comment section, they all said the same thing. Go, why'd you go to Cambodia? That's a terrible start. But hey, but you know what? You go right into the deep end. No swimmies on, no life preserver. Just jump right into Phnom Penh. That gives you a real,
Hey,
that's like Navy SEAL shit. So.
expats in the chats. Hey, expat, what happened? How come Vincent pussied out? What happened? No planning at all in this trip. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, at least you guys got to see each other and everything.
Yeah.
I know it's good that Luke's in here because you got to understand that Luke has seen and he's already been abroad. He's already done it. And he's a military guy. He can do that.
Yeah.
He has the ability. He's on a different playing field mentally to be able to do that. Like he can survive in shit. Believe me. And you think if you think you have a set of balls like Luke does, you got another thing coming.
Yeah,
you got to give it up to Luke.
But the thing is, it's like even I don't know. Like it's really hard. I think it would be hard for someone like Vincent to plan, not like Vincent, but maybe someone his age to plan a trip like that if you've never been to a place like that.
Right, you just jumped right into it with no planning, right into the middle of Phnom Penh, like, you didn't go to TripAdvisor, something,
Yeah.
Watching a couple YouTube videos isn't really going to paint the picture that you want to see.
Yeah. Rico's saying it could have been overstimulation. Absolutely. If you're not used to fucking like the traffic and the just the pollution and
the advertisements, it's dude. I had a little bit of a cultural breakdown. Probably like my last night or two nights living there, and I'm like, dear Lord, I was walking up and down Riverside, and it was just so fucking hot, and I had no shirt on. I was hungover. I'm like, this is fucking horrible, man. It's rough. You got smoke, smog, and fucking just soot in your face, and the smell of human feces. It's an assault on all of your senses.
Yeah.
That's what Southeast Asia is.
Yes, it is, man. And, I eventually, it just you have to, if you want to stay there as long as I did, you have to like just become a part of it. You just kind of like meld with the shit.
Well, you seem pretty normal for someone that stayed in Southeast Asia for 12 years. Most guys are like have PTSD and stuff.
Hey man, I met a lot of guys there that were like that. I met a lot of insane foreigners there.
You gotta really be, really out there to fucking live it and do it.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know what. I think you know what kept me sane. I think it was my kid. I think that's what kept me sane.
Yeah, but did you live in the city? Did you at least have a tree where you lived, or no?
Oh fuck, man! When I bought my house, it was a fantastic little joint. I'll send you pictures one of these days. I still got photos of the place.
I actually have no idea what it was like for you over there.
Yeah, I'll send you some pictures of my house that I had when I bought one, and it was beautiful. It was far south, out of the city, right by a river, but high up. Like there was no way the river was going to flood, but very, very high up, almost like on a cliff overlooking a river. Beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. I had You know, I had giant lizards and spiders walking through my house all the time. I was in the jungle. It's wonderful, but it's far away. I mean, just to get anywhere is such a
Well, that's what I was just about to ask you.
Yeah.
Was there a paved road out front of your house?
It was a paved road. It was paved.
Okay, that's good.
It was paved,
That's good.
but I mean, you know, it's paved, but you know what I'm talking about. It's
Yeah,
not,
of course. We know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, so but how long did it take you to get to work?
Oh, for fuck. Well, when I first moved, I already was working at a university, right? And the university was in the northwest of Jakarta, and I was living deep south. That was a nightmare,
Okay.
man. That was an absolute nightmare. It took me like 2 hours. So
Oh my God.
I eventually had to change jobs because of that. But for the, I finished off the contract at the university, but I did, okay, so I didn't drive. I had a car, but I didn't drive it to work because it would have taken longer, right? It's just insane.
Right.
So it took me a couple of weeks, but I figured out this route where I would take a small bus to the train station, take a train downtown, then take a bus from the train to another bus, which would then take me to the school, right? So I'd figured out this route, and it took me about an hour and 30 minutes to an hour and 40 minutes each day. Insane.
On a motorbike.
No. On many different types: motorcycle, bus, train, bus, and everything. It was this whole.
You took public transportation in Indonesia. Is that what you're telling me?
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah.
Oh, that is intense. Oh my God. Is anybody hearing this right now? Oh my God.
Yeah.
That must have been a trip.
It was a trip, but I mean, I took the train, right? Like, but see, the train system there it's okay. Like, they don't have any really good transportation systems there. The buses are horrible, but the train system is okay in Jakarta.
Is it on time?
Not always, no. But there's 3 levels. Okay, there's 3 levels of trains. There's the train for the masses, which costs like 10 cents for a ticket, right? Then there's sort of a middle class train, and then there's the high class train, which is air conditioned, nice, really comfortable, but it costs like $5 a ticket, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 90% of the commuters didn't take that. They took the shitty, the lowest class train. People rode on the tops of it and shit. People are hanging out of it, right?
That's awesome.
Yes, I never went on one of those, but I remember one time I had to go on that train because I fell asleep on the train home and I missed my stop, right? So I had to get out, like, I got out like a stop too late out of town. So I was out of town. I didn't know where the hell I was. I got out and I'm like, okay, I need to go back. And I asked, like, where is there another train coming? They're like, yeah, it's another train coming, but it's the shitty train, right? He's like, there is no more good trains, man. You got to take the shitty train back. But it was already past work. Like, it was already late in the evening, like 7 at night.
Yeah, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah. So it was quite empty. But there's no doors, right? They can't have doors because people need to hang out of it, right? So so I got on the train and I'm kind of thinking to myself, I was a little bit scared. Like, I wonder what the people are like, right? So I get on the train. It's not that packed. I had a place to sit down, and it's just a bunch of locals with like chickens and stuff, going wherever they're going, and they were fucking beautiful. They were so nice. The people were so incredibly kind. It was like these people were just blow your mind. They're just so here, have a seat. Hey, how are you doing? Just so kind, so nice. And then you get on like the train that costs $5 and everybody's an asshole, man.
What was like the worst traffic jam you were in while living in Indo?
Oh fuck, man. Every day. Ugh.
I had one time. It was right during the peak of the dry season. It was like 97 out. 8-9 o'clock at night, and the traffic was so bad in Phnom Penh one night that they had to call in the military to break it up.
Oh my god, eh? Fuck.
It was, and dude, we're talking like right on like a main road where they have all those side vendors, street vendors barbecuing. So I'm getting hit with barbecue smoke and just fluorescent lighting. Those fluorescent lights that hang over the fucking meat and shit, just in your face. It was a horrible experience, but pretty wild.
I think my first experience of traffic in Jakarta, I was actually on a public transportation, and I had my guitar too, right? And they have these they have what they call angkot, and it's like a small, it's just like a van. It's public transportation, but it's the size of a van, right? And they just cram people into it. I think my first memory of being stuck inside one of those that's crammed full of people in the hot, jungle sun for hours. It's like I had a panic attack. It was horrible. But then eventually you just fucking have to become a part of it.
Yeah, you do. You can't stand on the outside and look at the craziness and go, look at all of them, look at this, look at it. Oh my God, you can't do that. You got to just jump right into the mix.
Yeah. Okay, so Megalith is in. How's it going, buddy? Who else is in there? Catboy's still there. All right, yeah, and let's see. Maybe for Invention, a semi-organized type of tour would have been better. I mean, when most people travel, they like do a tour, don't they?
I would imagine, yeah. I mean, when I didn't do that when I moved to Asia. I just kind of just jumped right into it. But when I went to the Caribbean on cruises and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of plan. You pay for like a tour and everything. It's like a package, right?
Hey, they don't really have that in Cambodia though, unless you go to Siem Reap. If you go to Siem Reap, yeah, but in Phnom Penh, there's nothing in Phnom Penh.
Yeah, right.
There's a place where 20,000 people got slaughtered. You want to go and see that? That sounds like fun. Dude, I went to that. I fucking I picked up a bone. Ready for this? You know about the killing fields?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, so it used to be it's not anymore. It used to be just an open pit. You just walk across this grave with bones and shirts popping up from the ground. One time I saw a Mickey Mouse shirt. I saw popping up through the ground, man.
Fuck.
You there?
Yeah. Okay.
And anyway, so the one time I went with my girlfriend, and it was one of my first times driving a motorbike, and there was a bone, like a piece of a femur sticking up from the ground. I picked it up, and I was about to leave with it. My girlfriend flipped out on me, screaming, and not screaming, but she was, having. You can't do that. You can't take the bones with you. I'm like, come on, I take a bone, right? Talking about desecrating the dead, right? Yeah. On my way home from the killing fields, though, I fell off my bike and I got a huge, massive fucking scar on my leg. Oh. And my girlfriend laughed at me. She goes, "That's what you get with you trying to take the bone." So I got a big scar on my calf. She got me. She was right. She was fine when I fell off the bike, but the exhaust fell on my leg. I got a really nasty burn.
Well, I got that's the badge of honor for living in Asia, man. Is the fucking exhaust burn on your leg? I've got one.
I got like 3 or 4.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Not too bad, but that's the biggest one I got, was trying to take that bone from the killing field. She was right. I didn't deserve it.
Yeah, well, it looks like Rico says he wants to go to Southeast Asia. Definitely go, man. I wouldn't try and stop anybody from going. That's for sure.
They're all relatively the same. I mean, I didn't go to Indonesia, and the reason why I didn't go to Indonesia, because I would imagine it's something similar to the other ones that I've been to. Yeah,
Indonesia, the Philippines, Thailand, they're very similar.
Yeah, they're all varying degrees of one another.
Yeah.
Cambodia is definitely the worst, and Laos. No one goes to Laos. It's funny how no one ever talks about Laos in the conversations, right?
Myanmar.
No, you don't want to go there. That's hot. Ooh, no.
I have a friend. I had a buddy that was working there, but I don't know if he's still there now.
I had my friend. Like how it goes down, like on this near Phuket, on the Indian Ocean side. Mm-hmm. You know how it stretches down and has like an ocean front further down south?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had a friend from England. He was a professional salvage diver. he did that for a living, which it was pretty cool, and he
Nice.
made his money doing that. But he got a liver fluke the size of a golf ball on his inside of a parasite.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was with him before he got diagnosed, and he was like really lethargic. He goes, there's something wrong with me. I don't know what's wrong with me. I need to lay down. I need to, we would go out to dinner and have a drink, and then he'd be like, I gotta leave. And he was always lethargic and really tired. When he went back to England, they put him in the quarantine, the tropical, what do you call it? Fucking, what is it? It's a tropical quarantine they put him in, and they said he got a liver fluke from 8 months prior to that. It just grew inside of him.
Oh. How do they get rid of it?
Oh yeah, with heavy antibiotics or some shit like that. They didn't take it out. They didn't need surgery or anything like that. You just have to kill it with like heavy,
drugs.
I think would it be antibiotics? Yeah, with drugs.
Some kind of drugs.
8 months he had a parasite in him for going to fucking that part of Burma.
Yeah.
And so many people. Did you have dengue fever at any point?
No, I was lucky, man. I never got that.
I never got it either, and a lot of people around me got it.
Oh yeah, me too. I had a lot of friends that got it. Just about everybody I knew got the damn dengue.
Yeah, I got lucky myself.
I got really lucky, man. 13 years, never got it once. And I mean, that comes from mosquitoes, so those are hard to avoid. Fuck.
Hey, did you see any like snake? How many snakes did you say?
Tons.
Yeah, I would imagine down by you there was a lot more. I saw this one neon blue snake with an orange tail in Thailand, and he went across my scooter. It was massive. It was a big beast. Got back to the room I was staying in, and I Google searched it, like snakes in Thailand, and it came right up, and it's the most poisonous snake in Southeast Asia. I got to
Son of a gun, man. Good thing you didn't fucking try and play with it.
Oh, that was a harrowing event.
Well, now that we're just kind of talking Southeast Asia, did I ever tell you about the time I fed a crocodile?
No.
Yeah, I was in Kalimantan in Borneo. I went over for a visit. I stayed on the island for about maybe 3 weeks, and there was I went to a place called Palangkaraya, which is kind of central, and there was like this kind of resort, like not a resort, but like a cool little community there, and I wanted to visit it. So as I was there, I was kind of asking the locals, like, hey, what's there around here to do? Like, what can I go see? And there was an orangutan reserve, but it wasn't for public, so I couldn't get in. But there was a river, and there was a kind of a national park on a river that they said, yeah, you can go to this river and see crocodiles. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go. I want to go do that. So I go to this kind of, you just drive into this sort of little park, and there's a river and a bridge over the river. But the area where, that's open to the public, the entire river is like fenced, man, with like 20-foot high chicken wire along the bridge and along the river. Like you can't get to, because they're keeping the alligators out, right?
Right.
Or they're keeping them in by the water. So I went over and met the park ranger, and I said, yeah, I want to see alligators. He said, okay, come over here. And we were standing on the bridge, and he's looking around, and we can't see any. He goes, nah, you know what? If you want to see alligators, come back tomorrow and bring a live chicken. So I'm like, okay. So so this one family I met, I stayed with this family that I met on the bus. It was weird because it was a 5-hour bus ride from Balikpapan to Palangkaraya. It was a shitty bus ride, man. And I met these chicks on the bus, and one of them had a baby kangaroo. It was fucked up. This one chick had a baby kangaroo, and she was hiding it in her jacket. And I'm like, where the fuck did you get a baby kangaroo? It's like, oh, my brother smuggled it out of Australia. I don't know how the fuck. I don't know how. I mean, there's a lot of animal. What do you call it? It's illegal, but there's a lot of moving of animals around that part of the world, eh?
Okay, right.
So anyway, obviously her brother illegally got it out of Australia somehow. Fuck if I know how. But anyway, so I met him on the bus and talked to them, and they said, hey, you can come stay with us. So I stayed with his family for like 4 days. It was pretty incredible. Anyway, I went the next day after I went to the river. I said to the family, look, I need to get a live chicken. How am I going to do this? Like, okay, we'll rent. So I rented a bus, like not a bus, a van. I rented a van, and we drove out to a small village, and I paid like 50 cents for a chicken. And so one of the bus driver, he went into the village, came back holding this live chicken, right? And he goes, here's your chicken. So he gave me the chicken, and we drove out back to sort of, I guess, like the little park. And so I get to the park, and I go to the park ranger. Here's your chicken. He grabs it and he ties a rope around its legs, right? It's a long. He's got about a good maybe 15 feet of rope or something, maybe more. So he ties one end around the chicken's legs, and we're standing in the center of the bridge, and there's a hole cut out of the chicken wire fence, and he puts the chicken through the hole with the rope attached to his legs, and he starts swinging it like a lasso.
Oh, right. The chicken, he's
swinging his chicken like a lasso, and he takes it and he tosses it like he's fishing, man. And he tosses it into the river. So there's this chicken with rope tied around its leg, maybe 30 feet away from the bridge, and it's flapping around, and he's like pulling it towards us, right? And he starts going like this. He's going. He actually no. I forgot to mention, before he even threw the chicken in there, he started calling the alligators by name. He had names for them, and he said there. So there's one alligator, its name was Nur, which is actually a common Indonesian name, Nur. And he starts going like this. He's like, Nur. He's like shouting this Nur out over the river, okay?
Right.
And this is before he even had the chicken on the rope. He's going Nur, and I shit you not, man. As soon as he started saying that, this alligator face just slowly popped out of the water, like it heard its name. It was fucked up, man.
Right. It knows.
It knows he's gonna be fed. So then that's when he takes the chicken, lassos it out into the river, starts pulling it towards us, and yeah, the alligators just chomped it down. So I got to see him.
Did he pull it back? Did you see it all decapitated and everything?
No, they ate the whole thing, man. Like the chicken was gone.
Oh.
Yeah, it was gone.
Could you imagine, if we can believe in reincarnation, what that chicken did in its previous life to deserve that?
One day he's just sitting at home, and then somebody just grabs him up and takes him to the river, right?
Well, they say if you're a thief as a human, you come back as a dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who says that?
In reincarnation, whenever the Indians believe, is it the Indians that believe in that shit?
The Hindus?
Yeah, the Hindus.
Maybe. I'm not actually sure. Maybe.
I'm not sure either.
Maybe. But yeah. Anyway, that's just the story of Southeast Asia. Because we started off kind of talking about Vention and him kind of bailing when he tried to take on Cambodia, which is unfortunate. Hey, Nick, someone says here, Rico
what?
says, I think Nick here does want to get married and have kids. Is that true, Nick?
I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't say no. Like I said, I've said that. Yeah, I don't really identify with MGTOW as hard as everyone else does, and I stated that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not ruling women out altogether, but as I get older, it's less and less likely.
Yeah, and it's funny.
That's the way I look. That's the way.
If you asked that question to any man fucking 30 years ago, they would have said, of course.
Yeah.
Times have changed, my friend.
Well, I tell you what, that whole, what is it, the manipulated man, that is really, if you really want to be at ease about being MGTOW,
Hello?
being with a woman, read that book. 100%.
Yeah, Esther Vila, The Manipulated Man. It's easy to find if you guys are interested in reading it. Just type it in a Google search and you can download it. Must read.
It's really good. It's really eye-opening. Really just, I tell you what, Esther Via really hates fucking women, and she's a woman.
Yeah. Yeah, very honest.
Yeah.
It's only like 100 pages too. You can read it in the afternoon real quick. So
Yeah, it was really a good eye opener, and it explains what women truly are. Like, men try to discover the universe; they want to know about the world, and he wants to share that like psychosis with a woman.
yeah,
You know what I mean? That's what guys try to do, and they start to project their fantasies and what their dreams are and their imagination onto women.
yeah,
That's what happens.
and it fails miserably every time.
Yes, unfortunate. That was kind of the sad thing I got out of that. Very depressing. Very. It's a very depressing read. It is.
Yes. Men are dreamers, mavericks, engineers, creators. They're curious.
And you want to share, and that's what. But you know what? That's what. That again goes back to why you're supposed to get married when you're young, because the woman starts to develop these things, and she kind of starts to share a little bit of the psychosis with you on various degrees, depending on their background, where they come from, what their relationship with their family is. That can be achieved. That's, I think Paul Elam calls that the unicorn. I think that's what his reference is to it. But but with feminism, with what's going on in the West and everything, to even come close to that is, it's so rare.
Well, realistically, even if we were to say that, even if we removed most of the risks for a man to get married in the modern age, okay, in the West, if we removed most of those risks, which include she can screw you for everything, everybody knows the risks, right? If we removed those risks, still it wouldn't pay off unless you got married younger to a younger woman. It's not going to work otherwise. Are you still there, Nick? Hello?
Oh, sorry, I lost you there for a second. Go on.
Okay. Yeah, I lost you too. Okay. No, even if we removed all the risks, like you said, it would be better if we could recommend for men to get married because the risks were gone. If we could do that, then you would have to recommend that, hey, as a man, you should probably get yourself set up, work on yourself first, and then find a young woman to marry, like right out of her 20s, as fast as you can. I mean, that's the advice you'd have to give to her.
Yeah, that seems to be the safest bet for society. If we're going to go down the society way of looking at things, the cultural aspect of things, your best bet is to marry people off young.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because she's not really caring about hypergamy as much also. You think an 18-year-old girl has any fucking idea what she really wants?
Yeah. Megalith says, I married in my late 30s. So that's pretty late to get married. How old was she, Megalith, if you...
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah. And Rico says, with hypergamy, your wife will cheat on you. Yeah, absolutely. Hypergamy is very... But you see, what I was trying to say is, like, if we could reduce those risks. And how do you reduce hypergamy? Well, you don't reward it, for one thing. I mean, you don't allow society to fucking reward it. Women are rewarded with their hypergamy. So it's encouraged. It's sort of an innate nature of women. It's a survival mechanism, is what hypergamy is. So you can't call it evil, really. But
it's also third world-ish.
Yes, yeah. And and basically we reward it, right? Like every despicable natural behavior of a woman is applauded and rewarded in the West. And that's a big problem, right? If you lived in a society where hypergamy was kept in check, you can't remove it completely, but if it was kept in check, then your chances are better, obviously, especially if you married young. But you're right, they still can turn around and do that. But I mean, we're not going to find perfection, You're never going to find perfection. That's not really what we're looking for. But yeah.
Well, you also have to understand that the men in North America have been reared as children.
Yes.
The men have been reared, so they know better not to chase after hypergamous women. That's part of the reason why you see so many people still not getting married.
Yeah.
And women are complete untamed savages. Yeah. And they were not reared as children at all. They're still not reared. That's why you have them wanting immigrants coming to your fucking country. So the women are wondering why they can't find anybody. If they want to find anybody, well, it's because of your shitty attitude, and they don't seem to realize that.
Yeah.
At least with the West.
Okay, so Megalith, his wife was in her mid-30s. Yeah, that's pretty late. I mean, by the time a Western woman is 30, she's fucking done.
Sorry,
it's okay. She's used up, man. By the time an American woman or a Western woman is in her mid-30s, she's done.
She's done. 28, 29, 30.
You're done. She's done. I mean, she's soiled by then. Like everything, her expectations and her what she's capable of, it's gone.
Well, also how many men she slept with. I mean, it's not that she's a slut; it's that she's cohabitated with so many men. The more woman tends to cohabitate with different guys, they don't know how to handle the new guy every single time. A woman who would be married or only slept with maybe 1, 2, 3 guys the most, she understands each man individually, so she's able to hold them for a much longer time period. Well, she's better at picking someone, you know.
Yeah, the traditionalists know that very well because the conservative traditionalists love to go, well, statistically, people that get married, that marry women at a younger age, their marriages last longer, and it's true, you know, and there's something to that, but it's still no protection from what they're capable of.
Well, especially with, again, they're living in the past. This isn't a Norman Rockwell painting, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And they have a blind eye when it comes to feminism. Even in the churches do nothing about it. What the fuck does the church do about a woman's narcissism? Really?
Yeah.
If anything, they work hand in hand. The social conservatives and the feminists work hand in hand. Yeah. Social conservatives saying men are the animals still.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. And even in any society where there's really no sanctity in a marriage anymore. I mean, there's not. It doesn't mean anything. And I mean, this kind of goes into the whole secular argument again. Like in a more secular state, marriage doesn't have any meaning. It doesn't have a meaning. Like there's no sanctity. There's no real reward for loyalty. Concepts of like for good and for bad. It's nah. It doesn't exist.
The one perk out of being married was that she wasn't going to go anywhere. If you remove that, then what the fuck is the sense of getting married?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? In fact, you reward her for leaving because of alimony.
Yeah.
Now she can double dip. She can double dip now. She can get the alpha male's money, whatever your definition of an alpha male is, and get the beta's fucking money.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also, with no fault divorce, once that became law, fuck, it was over. There is no meaning to divorce anymore. Yeah.
A conservative fucking fetish child.
Yeah. So a lot of people nowadays just they cohabitate. They don't like the common law, and it's so fucking funny. You know, I think instinctively, both men and women saw how much the state had their fingers in the concept of marriage. And I think instinctively people were just going like, well, I'm not going to get married. I'm not going to get married. And a lot of people weren't. They were just living together and having children. So what did the state do? The state goes, you can't do that. If you're living together, we're going to call you married, and you're going to be punished by the same laws if you break up. So,
see, I don't think they have that in America yet.
They got common law in America, man, for sure.
I don't know if New York does. I know other states do.
Oh, I'm sure states. I mean, maybe New York doesn't, but there's a lot of states that do. That's something you will not see in a more religious culture. There is no common law. You don't shack up if you're not married. That's a no-no.
Yeah, in a lot of countries it's illegal.
Yeah, it's illegal and very frowned upon. So.
Well, here, the other thing with with this whole secular argument, I mean, I wanted to bring turd flinging monkey into this. I mean, how far do you go where it's got to get to the point where you have to hump rubber sex dolls?
I don't know, man. I wonder if he really fucks it. I suppose
I don't know him well enough. You know, he's your buddy, not my buddy.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to. But I guess if you're going to spend that kind of money on it, you kind of you're obliged to fuck it, really.
Yeah, right.
You know,
$2,000. I gotta give it a spin.
exactly. I don't think you're gonna pay $2,000 just to dress it up, man. Take pictures of it.
Yeah, but the issue is how lonely of an individual do you have to be if that's what you're doing?
Hmm.
You got to be completely given up on life at that point. Like you're wearing dirty sweatpants, walking to a 7-Eleven. I'm talking like real bad. You know?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I guess you do see though a lot of wait. Yeah, I'm serious. The prop for his radio show, a parody to show Western women are worse than it. Yeah, I agree. It is a prop. He uses.
I hope.
Yeah, he uses it as a shtick. It's a gimmick. He uses for his show. I know that. I don't know, but I'm saying like
Oh, interrupting you, quite a bit, man.
yeah, but I mean, does he fuck it? I don't know. I don't really care.
Don't know. We don't know. We have no idea. We really don't. So we can't really, comment.
But on issues of sex dolls, you do see it in social media pop up quite a bit these days. Um, there's a lot of companies that are
Yeah, what are they
investing.
trying to tell you?
Yeah, there's a lot of companies investing in producing them, and they're always bragging about, oh, it's got AI, artificial intelligence now, and there's all sorts of stuff they're bragging about. So
Why not just clone? Can you clone a woman for us? Yes.
well, I don't know.
Well, they don't want that.
I can't wait till they make artificial wombs.
I think they already have. You don't think?
Well, maybe, but could you imagine like that?
Yeah, I think they've done it already. They've definitely cloned a human already.
If artificial wombs were the norm, women would be absolutely and completely obsolete in society. Like we could just put them into worker camps.
Yeah, I know. Raise them like chickens,
Yes.
like little chicklets. Oh God, isn't that like every fucking sci-fi movie?
Yeah, man. That's MGTOW.
Look,
That's
you just
MGTOW
hook up
science
the
fiction.
cloud, the cloud system. Your brain just gets uploaded to a cloud, and you get fed through a tube.
Putting that's MGTOW science fiction where when artificial wombs are a normal thing, women just become like pets, and we and we breed them as pets, and we kind of keep them in little work camps.
Oh, that's well. If you read the manipulated man, that's all that women really are.
Yes, absolutely. What was it? The best quote from that book, Esther Wheeler, is like, a beautiful woman. It's like in our society, a beautiful woman can have a lower IQ than a chimp. Or she said, theoretically, a beautiful woman can have a lower IQ than a chimp and still be considered an acceptable member of our society.
That's correct. That's right. Dear Lord, she hates being a woman, man. No wonder why she had so many death threats against her for writing that.
And actually, if that's true, then maybe TFM's doll can be considered a regular member.
Well, that was his argument. He said when he did if I'm a human resource and I'm picking someone for a job, I'm gonna go with the sex doll.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
That's all you do. You don't ask for anything in return. This is great. But fortunately, that's not reality. Reality is they're sipping champagne on the beach, Instagramming what they eat. That's what she's doing, boys.
Oh yeah.
Because she's hot. She's got that white vagina. Oh,
yeah,
God.
and it's actually, speaking of white vagina in Asia, there's nothing more sad than a white woman in Asia, man. Holy.
Yeah, they're really clinging for anything.
Yeah.
That puts them right into their place, man. Going to a country like that.
Yeah. Yeah. If you wanna shake up a white woman's fucking ego, just drop her in the middle of Southeast Asia for a couple months.
Yep.
I don't think.
And the locals know it, that they're better too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Absolutely. God, I met a lot, but I knew a few. I knew this one teacher who was I think probably in her early 40s when I knew her. And she had a kid. She was working at the best school in Jakarta. Lived in a fucking mansion. Had a driver and a car. You know, pulling in probably over $5,000 a month take home kind of shit. You know, you know, had all the money in the world. Had, you know, disposable income. Do whatever the hell she wanted. And she was just lonely as fuck because no guy would touch her. No guy would fucking touch her. Like when
I know quite a few women like that.
When there's all these tight little hot Indonesian chicks running around, nah, you're shit out of luck there.
Yeah, it's so funny. When I was doing a project, I met this Canadian guy who had, you know, he had the hipster beard. He was an arrogant piece of shit. He was a dog of a person. He thought he was like a big shot. He drove a car in Phnom Penh. He drove a truck, and you know he had a pretty good job and everything. And he brought his wife from Canada and their newborn baby to Cambodia. And he was very arrogant. He thought he was, you know, holier. You know, his shits were triangles, perfect little triangles. You know, he doesn't fart, he toots. You know, and sure enough, you know, he stayed there long enough. And I saw him months later. You know, I didn't keep in touch with him or whatever, but I saw him months later. I'm like, oh, how's your wife and kids and everything? Oh, they went back to Canada. And I'm like, oh, you're still here. And lo and behold, he's in a fucking girly bar and shit. You know, he dropped the kid, dropped the wife and everything, and stayed in Asia.
Mm-hmm. Dangerous.
So, yeah.
There's also nothing more sad if any of you guys ever go to Southeast Asia. There's nothing more sad than seeing a cucked white male traveling with his white girlfriend.
Yeah, there's a lot, man.
There's a lot. I know.
There are a lot.
I know. I remember when I was in Bali, like the last year in Indonesia, in Bali, and I was always in the goddamn immigration, right? Sorting visas out. And I remember one day I'm sitting in immigration, waiting, going through the process, and there's this white chick, and I sat down next to her, a young white chick. She's probably in her, I would say, early to mid 20s, and so I just sit down right next to her in this crowded immigration office, and I start talking to her. I said, "So, where are you from?" She's like, "Oh, I'm from Canada." So she's Canadian. And I'm like, oh yeah. So I start talking to her. She's like, yeah, I'm staying in Bali. We've done this and done that. And then all of a sudden, this white dude comes walking up, and I realize, oh, okay, this is the boyfriend, right? So I got up and I got up from my seat. And I go, sorry, man, you can sit next to your girlfriend. That's okay. so he can sit back next to his girlfriend. And I wanted to take him and just fucking slap him in the face. Like, why would you come all this way? All this way to this country, to Bali, with a goddamn white woman? Why would you do that?
These guys are the enemy. These are the enemy of MGTOW, these men.
Yeah, definitely, man.
I would, you know, and they're liberals. They're Democrats, man. I'm telling you, they vote left. Sure. These fucking.
Well, if he's from Canada, he's definitely.
But again, holier shit. You know, I hate these guys, man.
Yeah, like I want to, you know, those are the guys you kind of want to, but you can't get them alone because they're always with their fucking girlfriend.
Yeah.
But you want to kind of just take them off to the side and go, look, man, come back next year and come alone, for fuck's sake. Are you insane?
He won't listen. Those guys will not listen, man. Those guys are so blue-pilled. It's beyond words, man. Yeah. He's putting that chick on a pedestal.
Yeah. I mean, his girlfriend wasn't. She was attractive. I mean, you know, just your average kind of hippie.
How old was he?
Around the same age, I'm sure.
Okay.
And I mean, they looked around the early to mid 20s, I would say, 23, 24. I never asked, but you know, she wasn't unattractive. She was a pretty girl, but you know, come on, man. All I had to do was turn my head to the left, and there was 4 chicks that were 10 times more attractive.
But what does it tell you? That they're going traveling? They don't want to travel. The girls want to travel, because if he was the one that wanted to travel, he would not have brought her along.
Yeah.
So I'm traveling.
Yeah.
Starbucks, puppies. I'm Instagramming. I'm with my boyfriend. Fucking retarded, man.
Yeah, but you know, it's funny though. In Bali, there is sex tourism in Bali for women, for Western women.
Ugh.
It does exist there. So I mean, she could have come alone and you know, got gangbanged by tons of beach boys, beach
You
cold
know,
boys.
the fat white chicks in Cambodia, they fuck the tuk-tuk drivers, which are like the lowest of the
Oh my god!
I swear, man, I swear. And those guys actually have no idea how to have sex or anything because they're always inebriated, wasted.
Oh
You
my
know?
god! The
Well, that's
tuk-tuk.
how bad it is for them over there. You know, you're talking
Yeah,
about how bad it is for Western women, that those women can't get shit.
yeah,
You know, if you're a little bit chunky as a white girl in Southeast Asia, you stand no chance.
yeah.
You know?
Well, let's see. H Rab. Hello, H Rab. I've seen a couple of your comments. It says saying humans are evil or humans are animals are two things that offend people. I suppose.
I don't know what that means.
Well, I don't know. He said he mentioned before that he got the where was it? It sounds like to me humans are inherently evil. I don't know. I mean, women are. Let's say that. That's what we talk about over here.
Again, but if people are evil, then more of a reason why you have to go in that religious camp.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
See what I'm saying? You see how the secular, being secular kind of, works backwards,
Yeah, yeah.
And the other problem is a lot of these MGTOW guys that are either atheists, don't believe in God, whatever it might be, they're looking for a savior. They're looking for a demagogue. Libertarianism. A lot of these MGTOW guys love being a libertarian. Okay, so what do you want to do? You want to privatize the military and privatize the roads? Yeah, okay. You have any idea what you're asking for?
Yeah. Hey, Jonathan Hardy's in. How's it going, man? He says, actually, I think it might be better if those guys stay with their Western girlfriends. They only spoil it if they all came here. Yeah. True enough.
Yeah, well, it's already getting spoiled, man. It's over.
Yeah.
Cat's out of the bag. The internet really exploded. Blew those countries up.
Yeah.
Those girls got 3 or 4 fucking Western guys and a ton of money.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't take after the internet. It didn't take long for those little Asian chicks to suddenly become high-class prostitutes. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You're all muffled there.
Me, sorry. How about now? Good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, what is it the one girl I met in Thailand? She was really cool. I had a really good time with her and stuff. And she was half Australian. She was
Half Australian,
Thai,
half Cambodian.
No, half Thai, half
Ooh,
Australian.
she must have been pretty.
Oh gosh, she was absolutely gorgeous, man. And she showed me a really good time and stuff. And we kept in touch when I went back to the States. Out of nowhere, she like her phone was cut and everything like that. And then I found out that she's in Sweden. She got a Swedish passport, man, and she's traveling Europe.
Of course she is.
She's eating fruit on one of the islands in Greece. I go, what a life, unbelievable. But
Yeah.
she definitely earned it. She was actually a really cool person and everything, and it pays off just being nice. If girls can just be nice and thin, and that's it. That's all they have to do. They can't do either. They can't stay thin and they can't be pleasant.
Just go next time.
Can't even do that.
Next time any of you are in a conversation with a woman, just say to them, "Just be nice and thin."
Yeah, really. That's it. That's all you have to do. Like, we'll do what you want. Like, you want something, we can get it for you. Just be pleasant and, stay somewhat attractive. Can't do either. Do the complete opposite.
Yeah, they're mean and fat. Like, no, that doesn't work, man.
Just a sack of cells, as Esther Villa put it. They're just a sack of fucking cells.
Cells that just eat and eat and eat.
Walking embryos.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and not talk too much for sure.
I don't even, talk about something intelligent,
But that's the thing.
Start questioning the world. Start questioning the things around you. But
See,
I guess those are only
that's what Esther Villar was talking about, man. That's the trap men fall into. They're all like, well, maybe if I encourage her, she'll be interested in the things I am.
Right.
No, it doesn't. No. That's
But
not.
you do know that is a primordial instinct in men to do that. Did you know
Yes,
that?
of course, I know it. And that's what I was saying in my chat earlier with Jay was like MGTOW. It really comes down to being a discipline. Like you have to like unwash your mind, man. You know, you
But it's
have.
even harder. Like in Africa, in Southeast Asia, the men, not the men, I'm sorry, the babies, either boy or girl, they blend them together. They put the two together. In Western worlds, we actually separate them at a young age. And as the VR was talking about, the girls get dolls and the guys get, like the tool set or something.
Mhm. Well, I mean, if you want to get into that, there's studies that have been done in the United States where they've taken what would be considered traditional gender type of toys for boys and girls, and to just brand new infants, they did tests, and it was always consistently boys going towards what we would assume would be boy type toys. So there's something more to it. There is something very biological about it that's
Yeah,
involved in it. So it's
100%.
yeah, it's definitely not what you know. I don't. I think it's a mixture of societal influence and biology. Um, but if, of course, if you're a feminist, you think that Jane can be Jim. It's fucked up.
Well, I think it was Jordan Peterson that discussed that, saying that the more you try separating, or the more you try mingling the sexes in their gender roles, that you get a complete opposite effect. They even go further in the other direction.
Hmm. Yeah, it doesn't work. I mean, I don't know. I'm for separating boys and girls after about grade 3. I think boys and girls should go to school at different schools. Once they hit about grade 4, done. Separate them.
I would definitely, in Catholic church, Catholic schools, they do that, and those schools actually do really well. I mean, the people that come out of those schools exceed
Yeah.
uh, really well after high school. I mean, in New York, we have these, very nice Catholic schools, and Bill O'Reilly went to the one my stepbrother went at, and it's an all boys Catholic school, and everyone that graduates that school goes on to do usually really great things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I've said this before. I've said this before. I mean, as a teacher, and I've mentioned this before in my in talks, and I've mentioned it in videos I've made, that a woman, it is of my opinion, based on observation and common sense, that a woman emotionally matures at about the age of 14 to 16. After that age, she stunts. Emotionally, she is stunted at about the age of 14 to 16. Okay? It's around the same time that she goes through puberty and peaks physically as well. But emotionally, they are stunted. Boys don't. They continue to emotionally develop beyond that stage. Now, I don't know if there's any studies that have been done on this, but this is just something I've seen and observed.
This is your observation.
Observation. It's my observation as a
Yes.
teacher and a parent, and a husband at one time. Because honestly, I have seen a 14, 15-year-old girl have a temper tantrum. Okay? And I swear to God, I could not tell the difference between how she expressed herself and how my ex-wife did when she had a temper tantrum. And I'm like, but not just her, but other women I worked with, adult women I worked with. I'm like, you're behaving like a 15-year-old girl.
She's a child.
Yes.
Man child. A woman
Woman
child.
child, yeah. But I honestly believe that. I think women emotionally they peak at about 15, 16 years old. That's it. They're done. And that's where they level off at.
Well, I take it a step further on top of what you just said and say that it's when guys start to fill their heads up with bullshit and lies to try to hit it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because when they're that age, you don't want to say no to her, right?
Yep.
One, she's going to start screaming and yelling, and the other part is you want to stick your dick in it.
Yep.
Well, you want to stick your dick in it kind of sets a different precedent.
Well, and the other thing too, I that was really unnerving for me as a teacher in like middle school is I saw the girls manipulating these boys, like, right in front of my eyes. Like it's almost instinctual for them. I'm thinking to myself, who's teaching them to do this? They don't have to. And at about 15 or 16 years old, a girl is much more mature physically than a boy. You know, a 14-year-old boy is still playing with Transformers. A 14-year-old girl is like starting to menstruate. They're totally different animals. Totally different animals. And I was all. It was one thing that it was very difficult for me to watch as a teacher, is these little girls trying to manipulate these little boys. It was very sad. Which is why I'm a strong advocate of segregating schools. I think that should be the norm.
Yeah, the evidence is empirical, man.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So,
Megalith, MGTOW is about being disciplined, but each man needs his own method. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you'll find your own methods of discipline. You can borrow from others.
okay, but is a good method of discipline having a rubber sex doll? Pumping a piece of rubber.
I don't know.
Now you got to go a little bit further with this whole MGTOW. There's the hedoism in MGTOW. There's a lot of that, you know. There's a lot of aspects of MGTOW I really don't like to be associated with.
Well, when I say discipline, my type of discipline, and I talked about this earlier with Jay, was that you have to be able to stop yourself from simping for a woman. If a woman is in distress, don't knee-jerk go to rescue her. That's something you got to really discipline yourself out of, because it's instinctual for a man to do that. So there is. It's sort of like you kind of have to train yourself out of these kind of biological norms of behavior.
So read The Manipulated Man, because that was definitely a great wake-up call.
Yeah, definitely. So that's how I see it as a discipline. I mean, you know, you can find your own ways to do it. Some people will, you know, because if you think back, I think back to when I was still blue-pilled. All right, when I was a younger man, still blue-pilled, and it was like if I wasn't in a relationship, I was instinctively looking for one, because that's what society wanted me to do. You know, I wasn't allowed to be alone. I wasn't allowed to be my own thing. I had to have some kind of. There had to be a woman involved in my life, or I wasn't normal.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, and I think that's something that a lot of men have to go through once they red pill. It's like, wait a second, I don't have.
Well, it's not only that, you have to abandon cherished illusions. Mm-hmm. That's really what MGTOW is about, and being red pilled. You have to give up those illusions you have of what she is and what you want her to be, mm-hmm. and all that infantilizing bullshit. You know, that's what you have to give up.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Interdimensional Wiz says, #MeToo puts men in trouble and women in deep, 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 deep trouble. The end of flirting. MGTOW UK. Well, that is there's such a hatred for men in society that, like, what can you do? It's almost like they want MGTOW to exist.
Yeah.
You know.
So is it social engineering? Go down the Andy Nowicki path.
Yeah.
There's, is it? I mean, again, turd flinging monkeys is taking pictures of a doll. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I wouldn't.
So right there, he's playing right into the hands of the elite. You know, doing shit like that.
Yeah, I would not recommend MGTOW to go out and buy a doll and take pictures of it. That would not be my recommendation, and I don't think that has anything to do with discipline.
Well, you should get a friend. Get a friend to talk to.
Well, I think creating stronger male friendships is important, very, very important. Because again, it's just society and women don't want men to have strong male bonds. They don't want to, because it's dangerous. It's dangerous to them and to their thing. And this is why I can't believe that MGTOW itself, as what it is by itself, is social engineering. I think it's an offshoot. I think it's related to a type of social engineering. But in the end,
well, the problem is just look where you live and look where I live, right? Mm-hmm. Then you have all the guys that take their girlfriends to Southeast Asia. You know, it's very hard to make male friendships the older you get. You know, being social and wanting to be liked. That's all something you do when you're younger.
Well,
then when you get into like your mid-30s, you know, guys start getting married and stuff. It changes the ball game a lot. I mean, I don't know how many friends you have. You're 10 years, I think 10 years older than me. So, and I'm down to like just one best friend. and all my other friends are just gone or in Cambodia.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I don't know how it is in Canada as far as making friends and stuff, but that's kind of what I'm
Well,
into.
it's the same. I mean, obviously. Well, for example, I was asked. I was asked to go out last night.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Look at you.
I was asked to go out last night, and I was going to actually. I was gonna go out, but my kid was supposed to go to a friend's, and they canceled, so I couldn't leave. Like somebody I met like working at the store. It was a young couple, a man and a woman, young couple, probably in their mid-20s, early 20s. I mean, I just talk to them all the time. I know them by name. And one day and just on Wednesday I was in the coffee shop before going home, and the girl comes up to me and goes, "Hey, would you like to go out Friday night?" I'm like, "Okay, what's your plan?" And she goes, "I want to take you to the strip joint." Like she wanted to take me to the strippers, for Christ's sake. And I'm like, "What? Yeah, I'm not kidding, man." And I said, my reaction actually was like, "Yeah, sure, yeah, why the fuck not? I'll go to the strippers with you." And then. And I thought, but in order to do it, I would have to have my kid being taken. I'm not gonna leave my kid home alone to go fucking.
Bring them.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna leave my kid home alone
But
to go
for the
watch
whole
strippers.
family.
Yeah,
Show
right.
how Daddy used to do it.
Well, if I was in Indonesia, I could have, right? But
Yeah, right.
unfortunately, we're in Canada, so. But yeah, so I would have gone out, but I'm not gonna go to the strippers and leave my kid home alone. It doesn't feel right. So I had to cancel. But the point is like there's an opportunity to make friends right there.
Full house at AM's place. Well, Daddy's not going out with the strippers tonight, son. Oh.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the episode where all the wacky hijinks happened, and I did go.
Daddy's just gonna get drunk and fall asleep in front of the computer.
Absolutely. Safer. It's much safer. Much safer.
You go play Minecraft or whatever it is you youngsters do.
Yeah. My kid's actually with his friend tonight, which is good. So, but
well, I have a little brother. He's 7 years old, and my dad had another kid really late in his life.
Oh, you have a 7-year-old brother.
I have no, he's 8 now. Actually, what am I saying? He's 8.
Okay.
And I live with him. So, but it's so funny though. I take him out of the house and I pawn him off as my son. It's so funny. I go, remember, did mommy die doing heroin with niggers, right? That's okay. I know mommy's dead. It's okay. We'll get through this. So, what's your name and number? Great.
Christ.
But hey, so my father had a kid really late in life, and it takes a lot out of you. My dad, my father had me when he was, much younger, and he was able to keep up with me at a young age. But having it at a much later age, it's hard to keep up with him.
Yeah. Donnie Darko, 1. So you're suggesting humans are parasites? That's a throwback from earlier today with Jay. Jay was
he's a parasite.
Jay was suggesting that women are parasites. So, indeed, maybe they are. Women are liver flukes.
Well, not really. I don't go too far with Esther Villa. I mean, she really was just ragging on women. That she really has a vendetta against. I think she just had a vendetta against feminism. I think is what Esther Villa was trying to get at, because that was at the peak. Was it 1971? She wrote that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's at the peak of feminism.
Yeah.
She saw it coming.
She even said in the introduction, because that was a republication that I sent you, and she said in the introduction to it, like, I got so many death threats from women.
Yeah.
It's incredible. That's so telling. Like, she writes a very honest book.
What's so amazing when reading that, you could write that today, that book.
Oh, yeah.
It was so perfect. For a book that's over 40 years old, I mean, it was just, right on target.
Yeah. Megalith X says, Mr. I am a teacher and student. What is your methodology? If you're a teacher and you're a male, you're already doing something right, because there's so few of them. Because like it's sad because, again, this was touched upon by Peterson, it was also touched upon by a few other MRAs that, you know, so many boys are growing up without fathers, and this bleeds right into the whole school shooting thing. All these school shooters are boys that didn't have fathers. But the the problem is a lot of boys are growing up. Number one, they're living with a single mother who doesn't know how to discipline them, can't raise them properly. She's probably fucking if she's not doing drugs, she's on some kind of fucking medication, right? This is the norm. And hey, oh, never mind. Hey Nick, can you entertain for like 5 minutes? I'm getting a call from my kid's buddy here. My kid's
All right, yeah, no problem.
Go ahead.
I'm actually just walking into the house. Hang on. Give me a second. Un momento, por favor. Yeah, so anyway, my gripe is, you know, is Church serious about having sex with that doll? I mean, and is that a good thing? I mean, there's people following a doll on Instagram. To me, that's absolutely ridiculous. You know, I don't know how anybody else feels about it, but that's pretty crazy. You know, to me, it just makes things look bad. Now, let me check the comment section. Hang on. Yeah, poor Vention, right? 5 days. I mean, when you spend that kind of money traveling, I mean, it's a $1,500 plane ticket, and you only spend 5 days there. That's crazy. Like I was saying earlier, robo dogs did not replace normal. Oh, so get a dog is what you're saying? That's what Western women are doing.
Back.
Rico, we're going to do a whole episode on Western women and dogs. It's coming up maybe another 2 or 3 weeks. I'm compiling information on Western women and their obsession with canines. It is bizarre, disturbing, you know. So you're back. Sorry. Hello?
Yeah. Just, I guess my kid got in a fight with his friend, so he's coming home. I don't know what happened. I'll find out when he gets back.
Well, is that your son's friend, the mom?
No. This is somebody else. This is a kid that's got both parents. So.
Well, have you seen that woman?
Which woman? The one that has the
that crazy one that you call?
Oh, I haven't seen her in a while. I don't, you know.
Okay.
I haven't seen her in a while. She came over one day because her son was here playing games with my kid. She came over one day, and I was in my room, and she comes over and I didn't even leave my room. I just shouted through the door. I didn't even want to see her, man. Crazy. Single mothers are insane.
Read Donnie Darko's comment. Some feminist proponents have argued that, in fact, Esther Villa's works were actually from feminists. Epistemology and all her analysis reinforce the superiority of women. Makes a double look.
Some feminists, I don't know if, please, I don't even believe that. Like what feminist said that? Point me to where that's said. I don't even know. I don't know how you can I mean, you can say this. Yeah, you can say this. If you read her book, you can easily see how horribly men are kind of addicted to women. I mean, it's sad. And the sad part is, it's like she said in the book, men are these mavericks. They are artists. They are creators, engineers.
They've done it all.
Women
haven't done anything in history. Nothing.
Nothing. And men want to explore. They want to explore, create. And the saddest part of all is they want to share that with women, and women are not interested at all. So in a sense, it shows just how sad men are. It's a real strong case for like the system
is
depressing.
It was a depressing book.
Yeah,
it was a depressing read.
Mm-hmm.
For me, at least.
Yeah, women do.
I don't know about
I mean, it's women are physically weaker, so their power is in manipulation, and they know it. So you just have to walk away from that manipulation, man. But you know what? The power that they have
there's no power in it anymore because of feminism.
Yeah.
Then again, feminism works against itself and its own in what it's trying to do. You really want to be empowered? Have sex. That's how you fucking do it.
Yeah.
And they're not having sex, so they're not getting any power out of it, so they turn to prescription drugs, SSRIs, things like that.
Yeah. No, North American women are miserable. They're depressed. They're miserable. They're violent. They're aggressive. Feminism didn't make their lives better.
Yeah, and again, in communist countries in Eastern Europe, feminism was there. I mean, again, it's rooted in communism, and those women had a horrible, horrible time under communist regimes.
Yeah. No, it is. It's the train
And
wreck.
mind you, those countries' populations are in decline too. But it's not because of what's happening in the West with the decadence. It's because of what happened 30, 40 years ago, and they're still reeling in from its hurt during those time periods.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a train wreck, man. Let's see here. Yeah, what I was talking about before I left was teachers, and yeah, if you're a male teacher, you're already doing something right. Because again, like I said, a lot of boys grow up without fathers. They go to school and they're taught by women for their whole life. There's just no escape for them. There's no real male role models. If you're a male teacher, just be a good role model for the boys. That's the best thing you can do.
What did you teach?
I taught English literature, man.
Yeah, that's what I taught.
Like I started off in the ESL schools, and then I just made my way up to like a decent international school.
That's cool. What was the age groups?
I taught grades 6, 7, and 8 and 9. Then my first year 6, 7. And then the 2 years. First 2 years 6, 7, and the year after 8, 9.
See, my students were all like 18 to 24, which made it a little bit more interesting, which was really nice. But they didn't take it seriously. You know, again, when they have that type of, the Buddhist culture, there's no critical thinking skills.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, girls at that age, the age group I was teaching, they outperform the boys in just about every category because they mature quicker mentally. Boys, a 14-year-old boy is not the same as a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah, you're right.
They shouldn't be in the same class. That was why I always felt bad. I was like, I'm teaching. I mean, I can differentiate in the class based on learning ability, and you know what ended up happening a lot of the time is through my differentiation, I would have I'd be in a class of about 25 students, and for what I would do with differentiation, I'd eventually have the class into 4 groups, but it was usually based on learning ability, depending on what the lesson was at the time. Like, do a little test, find out who knows the most about this certain lesson, who doesn't know the most, and then group them according to their knowledge skill of the skill we were learning, right? And it often happened that just through that differentiation alone, it often happened that you'd have groups of all women and groups of all girls and groups of all boys. And the girls would end up being in the higher groups, like the higher scoring groups. So,
well, the guys would be in the back of the class. They would cut class, and they would always fail no matter what.
Well, a lot of lesson planning, unfortunately, in the West is built for girls' ability to learn. It's not built for boys. Boys are hands-on, man.
And they're killing that in school. I mean, how many classes do you take are actually hands-on? They're almost non-existent in the West.
Exactly. Like, I had to develop lesson plans and I'm teaching English skills. I'm teaching them how to write essays. I'm teaching them how to write short stories, right? This is not a hands-on thing. It's a class where the girls tend to dominate. So to get boys performing better, you have to plan your classes and change it into a way where it's hands-on for them. Otherwise, they don't learn on that same level, especially with a class like English. So
Well, but guys don't have, like, I mentioned this in another stream, is that there are no, because of Common Core. I don't know if you follow anything about Common Core. It's strictly just mostly bookwork and memorization. And that's what women are good at. Women are good at memorizing factoids. They
yeah.
never go into like another level of thinking. They're stunted.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's so many differences, man. The MGTOW says, "Hey, I hear most verbs can be classed into around 100 predicates. So as long as you know these generic 100 verbs, you'll have the fluency of a kid in elementary school." I don't know. I've never heard that. Maybe.
That's pretty wild.
Maybe.
Well, Donnie Darko's quoting some stuff here. He says it's all over the internet. The how feminism's linked to SWO's work.
I'll look into it. I'll definitely look into it. I suppose, feminism is kind of like a parasite. They'll fucking get their claws in anything and try to destroy it. He says the lack of male teachers, coupled with the fact that they're in the States, teachers are paid so low, makes finding a male role model that much more difficult and yet imperative. Yeah, that's true too. You don't make a lot of money if you're a teacher in America. That's for sure.
Well, I don't agree with the whole thing that you have to have male teachers. I mean, you should have one for at least every year you're in school. But all my teachers were females, and I had no problems with them. They did a great job, but they got paid a lot of money. Again, where I live, female teachers make well over $100,000 a year.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's really good.
That is really good. And I didn't get this. I don't know how you guys describe it when it comes to women in the classroom, but they didn't teach me not to be a man. They didn't do any of that. They weren't that as sensitive, or there was structure in the classroom. So I think women teachers aren't really that.
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with women teachers, but with a lack of male teachers, especially in a society where fathers are absent, it's difficult. It's really difficult.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, it's very, very important. So for example, in Indonesia, there was way more male teachers. It's
because they're all expats.
No, not necessarily the expatriates. I'm talking about the local teachers. There was a lot more males. Yeah, there's a lot more males.
Yeah, there are more males in Cambodia also, yes. But it's also teachers look down. It's not in the West, we hold teachers to a much higher standard than in other countries.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we take education, regardless of it being an agenda or not, we take education pretty serious. Yeah, Donnie Darko, $100,000 a year. Yeah, they easily make over $100,000 a year where I live. But you're getting what you pay for, and it is a public school system. And I gotta say, the whole idea of also privatizing schools across the board, I'm not really in favor of that either. All right, man. You want to end it?
Yeah. We'll just bring this to an end. I kind of burnt out from the chat I already did today, so.
No, I understand. No worries, man. We did good.
Okay, so yeah, guys, we're gonna cut this one off a little early today. But thanks for tuning in. It was a bit of a long. So I saw your Batman stream. How'd that come about? I was just playing with my kid, and I wanted to put. I said to him, "Hey, do you want to live stream?" He has like a little YouTube channel he uses, right? So I said, "Hey, do you want to live stream? We can put it on your channel." But I can't remember. We couldn't do it because the game was on my account or something. So I just.
Streamed. What was the TV show I asked you? It reminded me of. I asked you. There was a TV show with like two robots and a guy, and they would critique like really bad sci-fi movies.
Yeah, Mystery Theater 3000.
That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
It was funny. You just critiquing on top of it. You're like toasting the movie as you go along.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. It says, he said, Megalith, in New York City, teachers do well salary-wise. For men, as long as they don't get married, we can benefit. Yeah.
Yeah. New York City doesn't actually pay. It's more the suburbs of New York City.
Mm.
You understand all those people that work in Manhattan, they have a lot of money to pay in taxes. So if you're paying $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 in property tax a year, you better get something. You better get something back.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to cut off the stream, and we'll see you guys all next week. So have a good one.
All right. Take care. Good night.
Good night.